Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lagged. Luna's laughing, Techie's tagged. We're logging in with Luna and Techie. Tech talk's funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates to an event's logging in. Brought to you, system ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in for boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around.
Okay, I'm all logged in. How do we start this?
I don't know, you tell me.
I mean, this is a new experiment as far as podcast radio is concerned. So essentially, I guess we kind of go with the whole concept of just like log in and see what's going on in the world of tech.
Would you like to introduce yourself, considering this is your first episode?
That probably makes a lot of sense. See, I'm not even sure where to go when it comes to these things. So I'm Techie. This is Luna, and we're Techie and Luna, or Luna and Techie, depending upon how you want to put that.
And Techie is a tech guy, and Luna is very anti-tech.
Exactly. And we also have a baby that's here with us that's very interested in our radio board and definitely wants to disturb everything as we're trying to put this all together.
I thought he was going to be asleep, but it took Techie like an hour and a half to set this thing up.
Well, let's be honest here. What happened is I had everything all ready to go. I had a headphone set with a microphone that was attached to it. Wait, no, go ahead.
You tried to put this helmet thing on me, and I said no.
That's the thing. I actually went and I had a nice headphone set
It was not
with
nice.
a professional microphone
It was not
that would have
nice.
made things a lot easier.
It would have tied me down, and it was bad.
So instead, we're going with a Rode microphone that's basically like balanced delicately on the dining room table, and we're gonna see if it actually does anything. Mm-hmm. But no, based on the testing and looking at everything, it looks like everything is coming together. I did not, as I said, like if there are random noises like air horns and other things, that is the baby running the board. Which is, I don't even know. I did not know that was going to be part of the whole conversation, but apparently, yeah, that's part of the conversation now. But essentially, what we were trying to do was to at least go and talk about tech stories, at least myself from a tech point of view. Luna's more on a, I don't know. You can say what you're on.
I don't know. I don't really like the direction that tech is going.
Yeah.
I think it's really taking the power out of people in a sense. Like, it's empowering, like the tools are better than they used to be, but I don't like where AI has gone.
Yeah. So basically AI taking over everything.
Yeah, people not thinking.
Granted, in full disclosure and stuff, like our opening song is technically AI.
Yeah, but you know, I suggested that to make fun of AI, right?
Okay, well that's why I'm just like...
Because I was kind of like sitting there and realizing he's trying to push buttons.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my god.
Oh, he's pushing buttons, so that means if you are hearing any noises coming through right now, I just tried to lower it down so it's not doing it, but yeah, he's...
So I was going to try and make my own theme song, and then I just was like, wait a minute, we're doing a show about tech, making fun of tech, so I may as well just make fun of tech.
Also, our audio's going in and out because the baby's literally touching every
I
button
need to get him distracted with
on
something.
the board. I'm going to try to see if I can get him distracted with something while you go and talk to the audience for a second. Because I don't know what else to do about...
How about your cow? How about your little toys? Can you play
Yeah.
with your toys? Here's a tree. Oh, it's a tree.
Yeah.
No tree.
This always makes things more fun. So, I mean, so Luna, we got a few stories that we can kind of start off with if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, based upon what you were saying.
Hi, look. How about this?
Is I don't know. There's one story that's there. UK investigates remote kill switch on Chinese-made buses.
On buses? So how does that even? Oh my god! How does that work? You can talk.
I'll talk about it while you kind of go and get the baby situated properly. But yeah, looking at this story, this is coming to us from thetimes.com. The UK is investigating a remote kill switch on Chinese-made buses, with the Department of Transport working with the National Cybersecurity Center to understand whether vehicles made can be remotely deactivated. Because this is basically a security loophole that could allow hundreds of Chinese-made electric buses to be remotely deactivated, and government officials are working with National Cybersecurity Center to figure out if the bus maker has remote access for software updates and diagnostics to the vehicle's control systems. So
They didn't check that before they like got the buses.
they probably should have checked that, because that means that there's a kill switch, which means that if that's activated while someone is traveling, that could be a problem.
That's really messed up.
Yeah. There's 700 buses on Britain's roads currently, according to this article, and yeah, their rival, which is another Chinese firm, has 2,500 buses in the UK and more than 1,000 in London alone.
It makes me think of all these tech devices that die after like a year or two now.
Yeah. I mean the company's even trying to stay specific with London by making sure that there is a double-decker version of the bus, a red version. So I mean, that's iconic when it comes to London, but that's what's technically happening. I mean, people are getting into this whole electric system, but they have to be aware of the security concerns. It's funny because even going to car dealerships, people are saying that cars are no longer cars, they're computers. And you have to think about them in that way.
Why? I don't know.
I was waiting for your reaction. I was waiting to see if Luna was going to say anything, but yeah, no. That it's something to consider, because I mean, here's the thing. On one hand, I love the idea of this whole electric car revolution's taking place, because maybe the car is cleaner, you're not burning gas.
Yeah, but they're saying like the batteries in these things have all kinds of problems, and like their sourcing and like it's not really it's like a different kind of toxicity.
Right, but you're going to deal with the toxicity no matter what.
Right. But it's like I feel like that's kind of the elephant in the room that nobody's really addressed yet, is like you're trying to get away from one type of fuel and like getting to another type of fuel, which in many ways isn't really a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like everybody should be staying on, regular gas cars forever, but like I feel like there's still more work to be done.
No, I can fully understand that. So I mean, like, this is reminding me a lot of you're probably not familiar with what Waymo is.
No, I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, so Waymo, I mean, the people who have accessibility needs especially love this, but it's self-driving cars. Think of it like a self-driving taxi. And so essentially I saw a clip that was online of someone who happened to be in one of these self-driving cars, and the car was blocking a bus, but it wouldn't move because essentially it didn't realize that the Waymo vehicle itself was the one causing the jam. And the bus driver even had to get out of the car and try to shoo the car away, while the people inside the car had to contact customer support to let them know that, hey, we're blocking a bus. I can only imagine if they're blocking a train.
That's what always has concerned me about these things. Like, again, it's a nice idea and important idea in a lot of ways, but like, at what point have they worked out enough kinks that it's safe to put these things on the road?
Yeah. Well, they're on the road.
No, I get it.
They're already there. It's already happening. I mean, look at Elon Musk with all this money that he just received.
I think the problem is that driving is something that involves so much, like, human, assessment, and like being aware of your environment and everything. Like, it's nearly impossible to assign all of that to a computer successfully.
Well, people are super stressed right now to the point where they can't take it anymore. They just need the ability to know that there's a decision that's off their plate. There's too many decisions.
It's like you need something to take care of it all for you, but But it's like it makes new problems. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Like it's kind of like how we spend so much time now like having to get cars fixed all the time and getting phones fixed all the time. Or like
True.
it used to be like you could just kind of depend on the thing to work until like somebody stepped on it or I don't know what. Right? And
Right.
like, you know, you could be relied on that if you took good enough care of the thing, it would last for like 20 years.
Well,
Where now it's like they're forcing you to update your devices every few years, whether you want to or need to or not. Like I always go with dumb phones, and even now, like they're always trying to take me off the system and make me buy new phones, even when the thing is working. Like they glitch it internally. That's why I was talking about like the kill switch with technology.
yeah.
Like it's infuriating because it's like, you know, I really use my phone very minimally and don't put like any wear and tear on it, and every few years they're still like, oopsies, you know, now your phone stopped working, you gotta get a new one. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, well, let's kind of explain that one. Because the problem that's taking place is literally they keep changing the cellular carrier signal.
It drives me crazy.
Right. So even if you're taking really excellent care of your phone, and it's like, okay, your phone no longer does LTE because it must go on 5G, which is literally what's happening.
Yeah.
Then as a result, you then have all these people that now need to buy new technology. It's kind of like what Microsoft just did, where they said, we're done with Windows 10, go buy Windows 11. And then I was talking to a client, and they happened to mention they have to buy a new computer. They love their computer, but we ended up seeing there was a secret little button that was hidden that allowed you to extend for another year your Windows 10 security. So they're like, I didn't have to buy a new computer. It's just one of those things where you no longer have control over your device. You buy a toaster, that toaster is going to expire.
Yeah, but it's like that's the extra stress. You know, I mean, like we're all under an incredible amount of stress anyway, but when you add on all these little things, like all these things are supposed to make your life simpler and they're all malfunctioning. I mean, think of how many tasks you do in one day, right? So if every object you're interacting with in a day is going to expire on you or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I think of it of, like, having to move so many times. Like, we've had to move a whole bunch of times since we got married. And, like, you know, and the amount of objects that I'm having to, like, move around. And it just seems like no matter how much I simplify, like, you know, somebody's always breaking something.
The storage lockers know what's going on. Especially, they just, for some reason, they're just charging so much money now for a storage locker. Where before maybe you were looking at $100, $150, you're lucky if you can get one for like $400.
I think that depends where you live too.
That also
I mean,
might
my
be a factor.
goal has always been to have, you know, few enough things to not need a storage locker when you're moving and everything. But sometimes circumstances force it.
Well, I mean, there's shows on the UK now where literally they take everybody's stuff and they line it out in an airport hangar. And they go and they show you exactly how much they have of each item. But people are in there. But I feel like when Netflix had, I'm going to mispronounce the name, Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo, yeah.
Yeah, that sparked a revolution where people were looking at that whole spark of joy. And then for some reason, she was off the air and they replaced her. And I feel like from that point, people's organizational skills are lacking.
Yeah, but it was more than that. It was like that when she went off the air, I mean, it coincided with a period of extreme stress for a lot of people. When you're stressed out, you can't organize very well. It's like, again, it's like decisions, that you're making more decisions about what you keep and what you don't keep, you know? Like, I literally have like a pile of things I'm like, I know I have to get rid of. Right? I've already decided I'm getting rid of them. I know who I'm going to write to give them to. But that is a task to do, right?
That's literally millennial life if you think about it.
Right, but like talk about all these extra stresses. Now, like once I get those things out of here, then like in theory, in theory that frees up a little time.
Right.
But it's like, again, no matter what I do, it seems like it kind of like comes back in. Maybe that'll get better. I don't know. No,
it makes logical sense when you think about that and what's literally involved with something like that.
Hi. What are you doing?
I think actually, like, he might be mentioning that we have to go get ready for a break.
It's fine.
Yeah, we need to go to the water cooler and see what's going on there.
We need to go to the water cooler.
Okay, so
You
we're
want your
gonna
sippy cup?
go and take a water cooler break, and then we'll find out what other stories that we'll talk about today.
All right, Cali Girl here. I'm logged in. Welcome to the water cooler, where the coffee's warm, the takes are cooler, and the Wi-Fi connection is just strong enough to spill the latest. So, here's what's been happening while we were trying to figure out if our direct deposits would hit. The government shutdown has officially started hitting the fridge. The government shutdown is finally nearing its end. The Senate began procedural votes Monday night on a deal that would extend federal funding through January 2026. The plan brings federal employees back to work, restores funding to key agencies, and even includes a few longer-term budget fixes. But of course, in true Washington style, the fine print got a little messy. To win Democratic support, Republicans agreed to hold a separate vote next month on extending health care tax credits. Until then, experts warn premiums could climb for some families, just as SNAP benefits and other aid programs restart after the shutdown. So yes, the government's opening back up, but that doesn't mean your grocery or insurance bill is taking a break. And while Washington's focused on fixing premiums, the White House says it's working on lowering another kind of cost, one that's been weighing heavy on your wallets and waistlines. President Donald Trump announced Thursday that his administration had reached a deal to lower the cost of the blockbuster GLP weight loss drugs Wegovy and Zepbound. Under the new agreement, the monthly out-of-pocket cost could drop somewhere between $50 to $350 depending on dosage and insurance coverage. That's a steep fall from the current $1,000 plus list price. Now, to put it in perspective, these are the same drugs people have been paying rent-level prices for just to fit back into their pre-pandemic jeans. So yes, this is a big deal. Trump also said that Medicare and Medicaid would finally cover the drugs for millions of patients with obesity, though experts aren't so sure that's entirely true. Medicare is still barred from covering medications used solely for weight loss, meaning the details of who actually benefits are still fuzzy at best. So, whether you call it healthcare reform or just a really strong rebrand, millions of Americans are hoping this move means better access and cheaper motivation to skip dessert. So, moving on from losing weight to gaining cash, President Trump says there's another kind of balance coming, this time in your bank account. President Donald Trump said on Sunday that his administration planned to issue a dividend payment of at least $2,000 to most Americans, funded by U.S. tariff revenues. In a post on Truth Social, he wrote, "We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt. $37 trillion. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone." End quote. The announcement arrived as the Supreme Court continued to review the legality of Trump's sweeping tariffs, which were enacted under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Say that 3 times quickly. A move that lower courts previously ruled as unlawful. For many Americans, the idea of a dividend check might sound like a welcome relief amid rising costs and the ongoing government shutdown, but experts note that any plan like this would still need congressional approval, and Trump himself has said before that he'd rather use tariff revenue to reduce the national debt. So for now, the so-called tariff dividend remains more of a memo than a paycheck, at least until Congress clocks in. And speaking of suspenseful outcomes, let's switch from government drama to box office glory. The latest Predator movie, Predator Badlands, opened over the weekend and is clawing its way toward a near-record $37 million debut. That's the second best opening in franchise history, and fans are calling it the most entertaining Predator yet. It even scored an A- cinema score, the highest in the series' history. Director Dan Trachtenberg, who also helmed Prey, somehow turned an alien hunter's saga into a found family action flick, proving that after nearly 4 decades, audiences still love a good creature feature with emotional depth and explosions. So yeah, aliens may not exist, but moviegoers are definitely still showing up for them. And from Hollywood dreams to bar exam realities, Kim Kardashian revealed she came so close to passing the bar exam she took in July, but didn't quite make it this time. The announcement came just days after her new Hulu show, All's Fair, premiered to some, let's just say, not so fair reviews. Critics called it everything from terrible to possibly the worst TV drama ever made. But Kim took it in stride, posting on Instagram, "Well, I'm not a lawyer yet, I just play a well-dressed one on TV." She also said she's not giving up on her 6-year legal journey. So between courtroom scripts and real-life exams, Kim's still trying to prove she's more than just a reality star. She's hoping the next verdict comes with a passing grade. Now, while Kim's chasing justice, someone else is chasing headlines from the White House to the 50-yard line. According to ESPN and TMZ, President Donald Trump reportedly wants to name the Washington Commanders' new $3.7 billion stadium after himself, Trump Stadium. When the White House was asked about this, President Secretary Caroline Leavitt called it a beautiful idea, saying Trump made the rebuilding possible, which no one's entirely sure what that means. He did, however, threaten to block the stadium's construction earlier this year unless the team changed it back to its former name, the Redskins. So whether or not that makes it possible, we'll just let history decide. For now, DC might be getting a new arena and an even bigger ego boost. And from politics in sports to tragedy in sports, Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealon passed away last week at just 24 years old. Police say the cause of death was a self-inflicted gunshot wound following a police chase that began over a traffic violation. The team released a statement calling him a beloved teammate and sending condolences to his family. It's a heartbreaking reminder that behind the helmets and highlight reels, athletes are often struggling in silence. And finally, let's move on to something a little lighter and in this case foamier. Starbucks had to apologize after its new holiday barista cups sold out almost instantly, leaving fans furious online. The clear, bear-shaped tumbler with a green straw named Beanie became the must-have accessory for iced latte lovers. But within hours of release, shelves were wiped clean and customers were posting angry TikToks like it was the end of caffeine civilization. Starbucks said the demand exceeded expectations and promised to restock soon, which translated from corporate speak means we underestimated how obsessed you all are with seasonal merch. And that's all for this login. I'm Callie Girl, and this has been The Water Cooler, where the headlines pour fast, the opinions stay chilled, and somebody's always got something to spill. I'll log back in when the next story breaks.
All right, we're back from the water cooler break.
Back from the diaper change break.
Diaper change.
Ended
Well,
up being a diaper change.
that's our version of a water cooler. That's parental life right now. All right, Luna. Next thing.
Yes.
We were just talking about cars, right? Mm-hmm. So while we were on break, I was reading about GM, General Motors. They did announce before that Apple CarPlay is going to be taken out of their cars. Mm-hmm. And they were mentioning kind of a dig at Apple that Steve Jobs, while he was alive, spent a lot of time getting rid of things. Mm-hmm. He got rid of flash, floppy disks, all kinds of things that everybody's like, okay, what's going on? Older technology. So there's been this kick that's been taking place in the auto industry where they're now saying Apple's CarPlay, which requires you to have a phone attached to your car, is old technology to the same level as a floppy disk.
I can see that, but what are they putting in there instead? Let me guess. AI?
Their own proprietary system.
Yeah, it's AI. It's totally.
I love that you just went
I don't know.
right for the jugular.
That's
there.
what everybody's doing now.
Yeah. No, so they're saying they're calling the system that's usually like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. they're referring to it as phone projection system.
That's weird.
So they're removing, so the way that we say floppy disk, they're saying, oh, we're removing the phone projection systems from our cars and our units in the near future. Because originally everybody thought it was going to be the electric car lineup, but no, they're going after everyone. The CEO is female. I don't know if that plays anything into this decision. But it's just interesting that they just decided they're going to end support of all of it in gas-powered and electric cars. And nobody knows what the time is. But they're going to have their new centralized computer platform launching in 2028.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want cars to be simple again.
Yeah. Which means that there's going to be hands-free, eyes-off driving.
Hands-free, eyes off, like off the screen.
I guess. I mean, the thing is, like you said, AI voice assistants right now and automated driving software is what the future of vehicles are. But no, they're supposedly saying that they're taking a $1.6 billion loss related to its rollout of these vehicles, but they're trying to shift their focus to autonomous driving. Like, that is the future now.
I guess the question is just like, what is this transition supposed to look like? You know, because I feel like it's for better or for worse, it's happening very gradually, but the technology isn't like there yet.
Yeah.
It's like the people making these things are kind of like being put to it to produce material when they're not ready, and like, is that a threat to people's safety in a way?
Yeah.
Like, you know, profits over safety or something. Like, the innovation has to happen, but at what cost? Like, at what point is it actually really, really ready to put on the roads where all the kinks have been worked out?
No, they're looking at, according to The Verge, level 3 hands-free, eyes-off highway driving feature.
Highway driving.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Super Cruise in 2017 was kind of the pioneer of the hands-free driving setup, but apparently this level 3 system's working across all highways. And yeah.
I think the real question is, like, do they have data at this point on how many accidents and things like that involve these cars? Or are they just not releasing that to the public?
Well, they got that information. I mean, the public isn't talking about it. But just to describe what level 3 is, according to the Society for Automotive Engineers, is that the driver needs to be able to take over control of the vehicle upon request, but can also take their eyes off the road in certain situations.
Yeah, but like, what if it, you know, you're like, oh no, I need to, here, baby, hey, I put in your bowl. If the driver's like, I need to take control of the vehicle, and then the vehicle is glitching and it won't do it, and then you're like stuck.
Well,
you know, like, that's the error. I think of like how many times, you know, you tried to drive your car and like the computer system wouldn't turn on or something, and then like the whole car doesn't work, and you're relying on this computer that's glitching, or like there's some kind of internet connectivity issue or something, and so it all goes out.
No, I mean, the other thing about L3 systems is that drivers are supposed to be paying attention to the road, but if they're given this technology, they might not necessarily understand that they should be paying attention to the road.
Right, probably rely on it too much.
Right.
And also if it's being given to people who, you know, for one reason or another, can't.
Right.
You know, like I think of the person some weeks ago who like opened their car door into you and probably shouldn't have been on the road.
Right.
Due to like head injuries that day. You know, like I can see people in that situation like relying on some of this technology, just being like, oh, the car will take care of it. And then like what can that, you know, result in?
Yeah, currently GM says they're using Google's Gemini AI, but they want to introduce its own AI companion. There you go. There,
right,
we
there
found
you
it.
go.
We found it. We found it.
And how often does AI get things wrong? You know, like I feel like no matter, no, but seriously, like I feel like no matter how much they tweak it, you know, it's never like, not that humans are so much better, but like, you know, you can make a very believable piece of data using AI.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, like when it comes to art, I mean, I do art, and I can usually pick up on it right away. Like the colors are bad and everything. Like maybe someday they'll improve that, but I don't know. Like I have the eye for that. That's not reality. But like it's kind of like our theme song that I keep making fun of. Like, you know, I listen to it, I'm like, it's fine for what we need, you know. But somebody who's a musician, I'm sure, would listen to it and just be like, well, that's off and that's off and that's off.
Well, at some point, what we might have to do is just like essentially go to Fiverr or go to one of these places and stuff like that and just like give them some prompts as if there's AI and see what they actually come up with.
Let somebody have fun with it. But at the same time, like, I think what I find so depressing in this current market is if you do that, how many of the people on the other end of Fiverr are going to be using AI?
That's,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's the big thing that stopped me. That's the big thing that stopped
me. Right, but like that's what's getting to me now. Like, it. Well, I find it so disheartening, honestly. Like I usually like these days I look at websites, like I can tell it's AI, and maybe it'll get to a point where it's not like that. But like having built websites, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain look to it. It's not human done.
Well, there's no care or feeling. I mean, here's the biggest problem that we're dealing with right now, is that before, when AI was starting out, at least if somebody wanted to check to see, why don't you describe what just happened?
He just spelled cereal all over us.
Yep, exactly. But I was going to say is if you wanted to describe to somebody on Fiverr and you say, okay, I want you to make me a theme song, you would have them record a video of them playing that song to guarantee that that song wasn't AI driven. That's not a thing anymore.
Right, and I feel like everybody is so burnt out, or I don't know what, that they just are accepting the AI.
Yeah. No, they're making AI part of their...
I don't even like working with AI. I mean, no, seriously, like I've tried... You know, and like tinkering with my own business stuff, I've like tinkered with it in Canva, and I was just like so yucked, you know. I just went back to my normal ways.
well, speaking of AI, I mean, I'll talk about something about where AI's bailed me out as far as AI in cars, and that's essentially when it came to the case of there was a point where the car battery stopped working. I didn't know how to jump it properly. I knew how to jump our old car, our previous car I could jump. But the new car I'm opening up, I'm like, I don't even know where to put things.
Right, but you use it as a tool in that way, okay? But like a couple things. I mean, let's say that the AI directed you wrong, right?
Yeah.
You could have a very serious problem.
Well, I did have a serious problem because I misunderstood what the AI was telling me.
Right, exactly. But like, you know, if the AI has been fed bad information or something, like you really could like harm your car or harm yourself.
Right.
Like there's that. That's number one. But number two, like you're using AI as a tool, right? Like almost like a little dictionary for to trigger your brain.
Right.
Right. But I will tell you, like, the more you what are you doing? The more you use AI, like I feel like I'm like talking to an artificial person a lot of the time, like talking to you. You know, like it changes relationships and everything. Yeah. What do you have to say? Yeah, and maybe that's just because, you know, having grown up in an era where there wasn't AI and like you had to interact with people personally, but like, you know, you're like dealing with this like extra brain. So it's like, are you no, but like really, like, are you hanging out with the person, or are you hanging out with the AI that they're using to like make their brain work?
Well, here's the thing on that note, because Target is noticing that there's something happening with their current employee base. So they're literally requiring the Target employees to do personalized greetings and welcomes if they are anywhere near. And
Yeah,
that
but that comes off as artificial too.
No,
I
well,
mean,
it did. I was walking in with our kid. Yeah, no, and he could tell you all about it. But I was walking in, and we walked in the door, and they greeted, and I just thought it was because it was early and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad to see that you made it here today." I'm like, thinking to myself, where do I know you?
right, you feel like you're like dealing with some creepy brainwashed computer person. Like it's otherworldly.
And it's like, please enjoy your shopping, and they're like trying to teach customer service.
Especially in stores like that. I mean, I never liked, walking through a mall and like people kind of standing outside their stores like calling to you, and like I always found that extremely awkward, especially because they would like target me for certain things I was wearing or I don't know what. Like it's not that going. Yes, it's not that going into a store should be this like completely unpersonalized experience. But when the personal interaction feels really artificial and like pre-programmed, it's really no better. Like you're better off not having that interaction in the first place.
Well, I mean,
Like,
it's a staff policy. It's a staff policy.
Yes, it's a staff policy, but it's like probably because of some liability or accusation or who knows what. But like, even like I think way back, we used to go to this like local outdoor store to like get boots and things sometimes. And at some point, like way back in like, I don't know, 2015 or something, they started to wear headsets.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
all
remember
the
that.
employees were wearing headsets all of a sudden. And it was horrible because, and I think it's still like that.
It is.
It's like, you would be like, okay, I need, shoes that do this purpose and they have to be a certain width and all this stuff. And it was like talking to a robot.
Well, no,
like
it wasn't that. It's like you could watch the eyes and you saw that
they were glazed over.
They were glazed over because there was literal radio signals that were constantly being broadcast into their head, and they had to pay attention in case they were being called because they had to respond at a moment's notice.
Right, and probably corporate or whoever was listening to them and recording everything they said or who knows what. Like, it took out all the human interaction and it got to a point where we just stopped going there.
No, that's true.
Because it was like, it was just so depressing and like, if that was going to be the experience, you may as well buy online. Like, I'd rather go somewhere local or, have whatever conversation I need to have about, is this the right shoe for me, with the website that could direct me, rather than feeling like I was just talking to this robot that I was being recorded or they were being recorded. I don't know what.
So I think we're pretty much done unless we're doing a third segment.
I don't think we're doing a third segment. We got other stuff to do today.
Right, exactly. I think everybody has to do stuff, so let's log out then.
That's fine.
Yeah, right, cool. Yeah.
Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lagged. Luna's laughing, Techie's tag. We logging in with Luna and Techie. Tech talk's funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates, 200 bins logging in. Brought to you, system ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in, 444, boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around. Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lag. Luna's laughing, Techie's tag. We were logging in with Luna and Techie. Tech talk's funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates, 200 events logging in. Brought to you, system ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in, 444, boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around. Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lagged. Luna's laughing, Techie's tag. We're logging in with Luna and Techie. Tech talk's funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates, 200 events logging in. Brought to you, system ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in, 444, boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around.